Hey, Sandra, y'all. Welcome. Tuesday night, Scotch on the Bayou. And we're gonna get smoky up in here tonight. Great to have everybody, and I hope you had a nice weekend. We are finally getting a scooch, wee little bit of cooler temperatures down here in South Louisiana. Now we just need some rain, which hopefully we'll be getting a little bit tomorrow. It's been the craziest, driest, hottest damn summer down here. But we're finally going to get a little bit of relief, and hopefully we can get to the camp this weekend and maybe enjoy some of this weather. I hope y'all are all doing well and you're good where you are. Um, Good to see a good group of folks in. Want to say hello. And let's see who all is in tonight. And Sugar Kitty, hello, me out to you. First in this evening, Emma Bud Jen. Hey, Jennifer, we're back in Isla. Oh, we're back in Isla with the peaty smoky whiskey. And I see that you don't have any of Lagavulin. But you're gonna make it up with some Ardbeg, so that's okay. It's just right down the road, right? Just right down the road. Good seeing Rob's in this evening. Nice to see you, friend. Thanks for being here. And another Camp Drammer along with Jen. That Kim Rederick. Hey, Jim. Good seeing you. And this guy, time for a dram. Hey, Gregor. Uh, Looking forward to talking to you more in the very near future. More about that later. But yeah, I want to see Tater Dawn is in. Good to see you. Thanks for being here and joining us. Whiskey and Wine Trails. And hey, friends. And this guy, hey, Chad. Cheers, everyone. I'm glad you can make it tonight. And this fella, my friend. Hey, Drew. Good to see you from Scotch for Dummies. And another Camp Drammer up, George. Does I know Artie likes Ardbeg, but does Artie drink Lagavulin too? You'll have to let me know. For sure. And hey, finally on dry ground, not out on a platform in the Gulf. Trooper, great seeing you. And I know you like the smoky stuff for sure. So yeah, we as we're going through still all of our pictures and video and everything from our trip this summer, um, I'm having fun kind of reliving all of these tastings and things that we did. So to give you some kind of context, in the 3 weeks I was there, 2 weeks Mark was there, we had quite a few different things scheduled. The last one that I did was the Owl Hour, and I did it before Mark came. And what I would do is either I would take driving drams, even though I would have some, there during the tasting. I would take driving drams and squirrel away those samples. And that is why we came back with 80 samples, along with the generosity of everybody I met over there that just gave me so much. So we're still working through all of that. So that was what was cool with the Apple Hour. Unfortunately, there was a couple that I extinguished during said tasting, so I didn't get to bring those back. But when Mark got there, we got to tag team a good bit because we would get a driver's dram set, meaning you're driving, you're not going to partake. Well, both of us were going to partake. We were not driving, of course. So what we did is we just shared because we've been married that long. What's mine is mine, and what's his is mine too. You know. Anyway, we would share that tasting at the warehouse and then come home with the driving dram. And so I came home with all of these beautiful little bottles. They're now half full from Lagavulin and the warehouse tasting that we did there with the man of the hour, the man of the legend, the Isla legend, Ian McArthur. Unbelievable guy, just unbelievable. He was exactly what I thought he was going to be, and it was so fun. It just really was. It really was. Yeah, I just want to see Taste and Sensibility is here. Great to see you. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Um, so let me know in the chat which Lagavulin you might be drinking tonight. Let me know what you're drinking. And also, if you're not having Lagavulin, what are you having? You know, and I also want to know like what your favorite Lagavulin is, or maybe even the first Lagavulin. For me, the first was the 16. And I think that's the big one that a lot of people come in on, that might be that first. I know Roy's talked about the 16 being, his wow, light bulb whiskey. And to me, that particular one and a character trait of Lagavulin is almost it's three-dimensional taste and almost like a mouthfeel kind of thing. I don't really know how to describe it other than that, but there's something about Lagavulin's the viscosity, and I think it's those big, wide, fat stills they use to make this kind of oily, slightly dirty kind of whiskey that I absolutely adore. So yeah, we'll talk some more about that part for sure. Yeah, I want to see it. And this guy, hey Graham, good to see you, friend. 3 weeks, 3 weeks. All right, we'll talk about them in a second. But yeah, let's let's visit soon. Um, and Kyle Taylor, hey, the legend himself, yes, said, I remember asking Ian him what his favorite pour was during a tasting, and he responded, anything that's free. That's I mean, that's kind of the definition. I think Graham can back me up on this of a Scot, right, Gregor? I'm just saying. That's kind of one of those stereotypes that we all have them. As a Southerner, I've got many. But I could totally see him saying that. He was so dry-witted through the whole thing, that's for sure. Um, okay. Hey, Kathy, pop in. Awesome. Thanks for saying hey. Um, always love having you here. So yeah, so I'm gonna start. So I think that the 16 for me was my entryway, and then it was the 12. The 12 just about that one rocked my world. And this is I'm thinking like 2016, 2017. 16 was when they had their anniversary, and so that one particular, I had to decant it into a smaller bottle, but I still have a little bit of that anniversary 12 that was so, so, so good. And then there's like here's the distiller's edition, this particular one. I don't know, the 2017. Yeah. So that's a 14-year-old. And I have to say when we visited the distillery, the pricing was like shocking. I was really taken aback at how expensive like the bottlings were, the phage bottlings, the jazz bottlings. I mean, they were in the 200 plus pound range, which is why they stayed on the shelf and didn't come home with me. But I was glad that we were able to do this because it was a warehouse tour. You know, theoretically, it's things that they've pulled some cask and they're sharing it with us, and being able to taste that and kind of get an idea of what's in those warehouses that is not in a bottle, and it's certainly not going to be on a bottle on a shelf in South Louisiana. So that's what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through five drams. I'm going to have wee pours, so Lee won't be terribly adorable. A couple other folks jumped in. I want to say, hey, hey, Ian Bruce is in. Good evening. And everyone that's on the live, yes, it's awesome. George says, yes, that 16 was the light bulb moment for you, right? The like ding. Okay, I get it now. Kind of dram. Yeah, for sure. Hey, William, welcome. Slanja, cheers for you, friend. Thanks for being in. And Taste and Sensibility is saying, a whole Lagavulin collection is the 16 from 5 years back or more. Wow. The 12 cast strength from 2018 and the Game of Thrones 9. Yeah, the Game of Thrones version 9 year. I really enjoyed that. I mean, you can definitely tell it was much younger, but I think it handled the peat so very well. I love it. Yeah, it was Sugar Kitty. It was some bank, and yeah, and I was thinking, is this one of the ones that Diageo is kind of, well, not kind of, but is positioning to be like a luxury brand and that type of thing? Because I'm telling you, oof, um, yeah, it was shocking, like how much they were. Whiskey and Wine Trails is saying that the 8-year-old, it's young, as I am old. You're funny. Um, yeah, I really enjoy all of those, for sure. Um, the best Game of Thrones deal was you got one for $29. $29. I don't know where the flash sale was on that, but I hope you got a case of it, Trooper. Sean, hey, welcome in. The 16 was also a light bulb. Yeah. It was the one that was so readily available, right? And it was reasonably priced. It was like, I mean, some places had it when I could get it in Texas, it would be like 65, maybe $70, a little higher here for sure. Um, but it you're getting a 16-year-old for under $100 and it tasted that good. Granted the ABV wasn't, up there, but it was what it was. Um, and isn't that funny? You love the 16, but here comes the 8 that's half its age. And you just absolutely, really took a liking to it. That's awesome, Chad. Awesome, awesome. Um, so Ian's asking me what the first thing was that struck me walking into the warehouse. Um, well, let's look at that warehouse and what it looks like. I'll throw this over here real quick. So when you walk in, this is what you see. And I just thought, this is like really dank and dark. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be this bright lit up thing, but just the red beams, and this really dark dank area. And I'll flip over here, and this you just look down. Can you all smell this picture? When they say you can't smell a picture, I disagree. I think we can all smell this one because you're getting brine because the place is sitting right on the sea. Okay. You're getting the brine, you're getting the wood and the dank of the dunnage, the earth floor. Because as you see where the casks are, that's sitting on earth. And then they've got this kind of gravel walkway in between the rows and all. But the amount of gradu, and that's kind of a Louisiana word that we use for the crud, the heebie-jeebies that are all over. I mean, there was gradu everywhere. So I guess my first was like, this is old. This has been everything in here has been here forever. And it smelled so freaking good with the whiskey. Um, tell me what you thought. I would love to know. I would love to know. Um, William says that all of his Lagavulin is keeps disappearing. Don't know how or why. You need better cameras. I think it would be like one of those progressive commercials, or if they did the replay and they threw the flag, they would like come up with somebody, probably you, pouring that, as you well should, as you well should. Um, so yeah, Sean is loving the 16 as well, and Chad. The Jim says the 16 is a favorite and still is the bottle you grab when you're eating a steak, right? And want to feel fancy. Oh, we all fancy and shit here, yeah, right? Distiller's Edition's always been very good, and your favorite was the 2013 Distiller's Edition. Um, 13 or 18. I have to make sure I say that right. 13. Um, wow. I wonder how variations. I love the fact that some of you have like all of the 16s and you can do like a row of 16s, or a row of distiller editions. Doing that blind. Let me know if y'all have done that blind, because I can imagine how interesting it is from year to year and batch to batch for Lagavulin or any other expression that we really like. There are going to be variations, especially in something like the distiller's edition, which isn't necessarily got to taste like that every year, where you're blending to the flavor profile for the 16 year in and year out. But it's interesting. I love how something like that, where you would do a blind and you would think, okay, I'm going in on the front end. I know which is which. This is my favorite XYZ year. But when you go through the blind, did it come in there? I think that's so cool. So cool. Hey Joe, good to see you in. Thanks for being here, Slandra friend. So Rob's saying that the 12-year-old cask strength 2010 is still one of your favorite whiskeys of all time. Wow. Yum. Uh when are we going? Dustin, I'm going to be really close in a couple of weeks, but not another trip to Isla for a little bit, I think. So let's listen to Yoda here, where Graham says he started his malt whiskey journey in the late 1990s. And it was only Lagavulin 16, and the first facial tasting was in 2001, revealed the very first 12, which was a revelation. Wow. So you've really been able to witness their resurgence even as a distillery, because the 80s, were not kind to them whatsoever. And the 90s is when they really started kicking up again. That's amazing, Graham. This guy is an encyclopedia of, what all he's been able to enjoy and experience with whiskey is nothing short of amazing. Mm, mm, mm. Well, I'm going to get into the first dram, and then we're going to get back to the comments, because they're coming in and I'm loving it. We got a good group in tonight, guys. So this first one is let me flip over here. I'm flipping around these pictures like crazy. And we will see the man himself, Mr. Ian McArthur. He has held court, and that is what I would use the term. He definitely has held court over this tasting for many years. He is retiring in about 3 weeks. So if you hadn't got there to get there to experience it, hurry up. But I don't think he can go very far, because he is Isla through and through. And at one point, Mark and I were in the car with my friend Rachel, who is the Whiskey Academy there, and he's in a combine in front of us going to a barley field. It was hilarious. Man does everything. So what I have, this first was not on this list. So let's go over what's on the list so y'all can see. So the next dram, the first one I have is the 2023 facial dram. And I'm going to have that one here in a sec. But the 4 that they presented to us was a 2012 52.1% refill hogshead 10-year-old. Then a 2010 12-year-old that was 57.3, that was in charred red wine casks. And then a cask, plural, singular. Then the third was a 2007 54.3 refill, but 16-year-old. And the last dram we had was from 2005. It was at 49 ABV, and it was an 18-year-old bodega cask. So that was unbelievably fabulous lineup just on paper that Mr. McArthur was holding up. This particular one, the first one is the face shield. Let me try to look at the color. And I mean, any guesses as to what that cask was? And one hint is not sherry. This was uh, a 14-year Armagnac. Oh, you had me at Armagnac. And it smells so good. It's just very so the nose is just presenting a little smoke. It's not overbearing. But you get the sweetness, that kind of grapiness of the 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 Armagnac, of that kind of brandy. Mm. And this one, I'm trying to remember what the ABV is. I'm guessing it's probably 52 and or a little higher. Oh man, very malty, almost and a little bit of an ash on the finish. Slightly sour on the finish. Very sweet up front. Like candied fruit. Almost like a candied apple, or candied apple and grape jelly. Oh man. Mm. Let me know if anybody had the Armagnac finish for the facial this year, what you thought about it. And tell me what type of smoke you get on Lagavulins as opposed to an Ardbeg or a Lafroig, or maybe, even a Bamore or something like that. And I want to get back into this. Hey, Joe. His introduction was the 8. Really enjoy it still. And the latest 11 and the 16 is wonderful. How about Mr. Nick Offerman? Just bringing Lagavulin out to the masses, right? Nothing like sitting there doing a video for 30 minutes looping of you drinking Lagavulin by a fireplace, and to get that kind of a brand to come and say, hey, come on, be part of us. If you have not, so here is this latest one, the charred oak cask of the Nick Offerman. Do that so you can see it. There we go, of this one. If you have not watched the promo of this, if you've not watched the video of this, go look it up. Nick Offerman Lagavulin charred cask on YouTube, because I'm telling you, it is an absolute riot. The photographer who basically documented our whole time, Jennifer, on at Iowa Whiskey Academy, Ben Shakespeare, shot a lot of the video. I don't know if he shot the video, but I know he shot the stills and everything for the ad campaign for this bottle. And it was an absolute riot. And Ian McArthur is in it. He's actually in it. And it's really pretty funny. Pretty funny. Sugar Kitty says the biggest letdown is that the line fire proves to be just chill filtering and is hurting the product. Why just not let it be a 16-year release? Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yes, our group does definitely need to make a trip over there. I'm ready to go. Let's do any time. Just ask anybody you know. Especially when my husband says, "When's your next trip to Scotland?" And you're like, "Well, funny that." Yeah. Ian says, "Unfortunately, my only visit was between lockdowns." Oh, and you only got to see outside. Another time. And like I said, Ian may not be doing that tour anymore, but he's going to be around. And I can totally see that they would bring him back for some special things for sure. Hey, Michael. So the 16-year-old costs more. Yeah, it does. It does cost more than six. So the 11 is it is still at 46 ABV. That's right. It's not a cask or a batch strength. Um, Mr. Offerman may have something to do with that. I'm not quite sure, but it's also probably what they have to work with as far as type of casks. I don't know. Might just all be marketing for sure. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Um, so Taste and Sensibility says they're just tasting their Lagavulin 12 cast strength from 2018. Ooh, 57.8 flavors, aromas, experience. Oh my. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, look who's here. Hey, Martin, Sanji, y'all. Pour you something good, friend, if you can. Um, hey, Zach. Just finishing up work. Get work done. Pour you a dram. Thanks, friend. Um, so you met Ian in Sterling 20 years ago, and you had to drive over from Iowa his livestock to sell at the farmer's auction. Oh wow. Is this not so cool? Meeting on Scotch on the Bayou tonight, Tuesday night. I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, let's see what Martin's got. The 10-year-old European cask used 3 times, 56, 12-year-old. So this, I'm guessing this was your tasting when you were there. Martin, just let me make sure, I might have missed that earlier. Used twice, 51%. The 2018 Jazz Festival, a mix of 8, 15, and 25 years. American European at 58. And then a 25-year-old single cask, dang, at 52. Wow, I bet that was spectacular. It would be interesting to see how the smoke was on the 25-year-old. Because I don't think I've had anything really old from Lagavulin, to see how much the peat dissipated and the smoke dissipated over those years. Very, very interesting. Yeah, so they were I knew you were over there right before I went over there. Yeah, same tour. Awesome. And that just goes to show you it's not the same things that they're rolling out, you know. So yeah, so that was like, I called that the lanyap or the welcome dram, was that facial. For those who don't know, because it is a strange term, for those who don't hear it often, but facial is the FEIS capital ILE. It's the Festival of Islay. And of course, I'm sure I'm butchering it, but phonetically, it sounds like official, like official, but facial kind of. Anyway, so if you didn't know what that was, that's what facial it's to celebrate Isla. It's the big Isla whiskey festival, basically. So Kevin sent me a picture earlier of what all he was happy to be drinking. He lined his Lagavulins up. And he said the smoke on the 25, I'd say it's perfect. Dude, you got to give me some more context than that. I mean, is it mellow? Is it just kind of a whisper? Is it, like smoke still? Is it like vibrant, or is it just kind of chill? You'll have to let me know. Let me know. So the second dram, or the first dram on the sheet that Ian had, oh, it's so this. It is so this. Look at this light color. Oh my gosh, look how light that is. It's like barely straw. This is the 2017. See, this is the 10-year-old 2012. That's right. 52.1 refill hogshead, a 10. And it's your quintessential, just bourbon matured, malty, slightly salinic, Very wispy smoke. Not so smoke. I'm trying to there's a lot of smoke. I have everything covered though, so I'm not trying to pick up off the other drams. And I even have a slight fan going over here just to kind of waft some of that away. That's smoked vanilla ice cream. The viscosity, I mean, do y'all not get like how oily, um, just like so oily this whiskey is? And it is those stills, those big old chunky, I mean, birth and hip size. I'm serious. Stills that just all that reflux is up and down to where it's just hanging. Those heavier vapors are just kind of like hanging up there. Um, has to have a descending line arm. I can't even remember what it had, but this is just, oh, this is so nice. And it 52, 52.1 is drinking like a 43. Yikes. Just a Now, where that first smoke on the facial was a little ashy, this is more campfire. This is more campfire, and the sweetness stays on the front of the palate as the first sip, mid range during the middle of the palate, and then it stays sweet all the way through a sweet, wispy campfire smoke on the end. Oh my goodness. God, I love a bourbon matured. So Fraser says he was strongly advised to pick up the 2018 Jazz Festival bottling by a friend, and it proved to be a great choice, especially since about the last time left there. Okay, it was just about the last bottle left there. Oh, that was nice happenstance or serendipity. I'm all about serendipity happening. You were supposed to have that bottle, friend. Hey, Foz is here. Great to see you. The last tasting after spending a week on Isla, had made a mad dash um, to the airport with your suitcase, and I can only imagine what was in that suitcase. And in 2018, you get back. Oh my goodness, you get back there. Oh, goodness. So, Dustin's having a fit over something being smooth. I don't know what's smooth. What are you having that is so smooth? Um, like a smoky jelly bean. Ian, that's very good. It's a very good analogy. Yeah, it was. It was almost like this vanilla ice cream. Not ice cream as in fact it was cold, but that kind of creaminess to it, you know? Uh uh uh. Martin concurs on the 2018 jazz bottling. So, um, all those who do the auction thing, I'm sure there's some to be found. That's for sure. Um, yeah, you can never get too much of Isla, y'all. It's just I mean, people say, "Oh, it's magical." Well, it is for a reason. It's absolutely gorgeous, and fabulous things happen there. It really does. So I'm going to go and move on to the third dram. And this is where things are going to get really interesting. So I'm really digging the new camera, y'all. I hope y'all are liking this. It makes me feel like I really do need to go get a manicure or two. This is 2010, a 12-year-old. Oh, wow. Yeah, totally on the nose. A charred red wine cask. And this is 57.3. You get a hint of wine. It's not overtly like you opened up a bottle of red and you're going to start singing Billy Joel or Harry Styles. He has a song about that too. Okay, this is 5% hotter than the one previously, and it tasted much spicier on the mid palate and the finish. Still with the campfire smoke on the end, but yeah, I would definitely pick this as a red wine finish. When I say it's finished, I don't know. I don't recall if all 12 years were in this cask. I'm pretty sure it was, though, and not just finished. I'm saying that, but I don't know. Mm. So I'm just loving everybody chatting all day. So Graham made the point of always amazed how much whiskey Lagavulin produces with so few stills. Yeah, because they just have what, the 4? Is it 4? Let me grab up. Let me go back to the book where we all go through. Yeah, because they put out 2.6 million liters a year, and they only have 2 pair of stills. Yeah, just the 4. It's crazy, crazy. Harry Styles, don't know who he is. Well, he and Paolo Nutini are yeah, he is new. You're such a goober. Oh me. For those who don't know, I kind of like Harry Styles among many other people. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see what's here. So this wine cask, it is kind of interesting. Doesn't have a lot of that tannic or that drying sensation that you get a lot on red wine. And even the color, the color isn't too red winey-ish, like some kind of look reddish. This doesn't at all. But man, that is really tasty. This is going to be one of those things where it'll be challenging to realize that I should not be sad it's over, just be happy it happened, because these are not going to last. I'm going to drink these for sure. So let's roll up on the 4th one. We're going to go back to our bourbon world of bourbon matured. Totally different smell. I want to go this against that second one that was the refill hogs. This is a refill butt. And this is what we're looking. I don't know. That's a refill sherry butt, huh? With that color? I can't imagine this. Yeah. That's got to be a refill sherry butt. Yeah, because you're kind of getting into that caramelized sugar. All right, I'm going to go back to 2. This is the vanilla and the cream. This is caramelized sugar and like macerated fruit. So not really cooked down, just kind of, you put a little rum on the fruit and let it kind of macerate and do its thing. Definitely sherry. Mm, mm, mm. So this one again is at 54.3, and it's 16 years old, and it's quite warm, quite spicy on the finish. Like it's going still. It's still like rolling down the hill. And not from an ABV. It's 3% lighter than the last one I had. So it's I'm guessing probably European oak. some kind of something in there that's making that just hang forever. Good gravy, it's still going on. Oh, goodness. Mm, mm, mm. Um, so, so yes, Kyle, you nailed it. For those who have not seen Gregor will be with me next week, along with our friend Chris. We're gonna have a flight with friends on a very, very special bottle. I'll tell you a little bit about that right now. But yes, I think they both have the quaff. I would say though, Kyle, that Gregor's quaff is more controlled than Harry's. Harry tends to like his, I'm gonna say this nicely. His tends to be a bit looser and not as high performing with certain hair products as Gregor's. And Gregor's just his is always in place. He's always looking like to the T, just put together. As a curly girl like Harry, you can't control this. Gregor's quaff, awesome, awesome for sure. So Graham is saying this is why, y'all, I'm telling you, the man is up at 2, almost 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK, in Scotland, to give you drops of nuggets of information like this. Anyone visiting Lagavulin during Phage might get a sample of the whiskey with fresh caught scallops from Lagavulin Bay. A match made in heaven. Probably only to rival Kelpie poured into the oysters that we had at Ardbeg. But I'll take both because I'm good with that. I'll take both. I don't care. So yeah, so this guy, Ian is just an absolutely amazing guy. He was so very patient with everybody and their brother that wanted to take a picture of him because he is the legend, just like the cask behind him says. He is a total legend. And it was a lot of fun. Mark and I had a great time during the tasting, walking the grounds. Just an amazing place. It's just so absolutely gorgeous. We had, so you walk on the road. So over here on the left-hand side, over here is the road that goes from Port Ellen, and it is Lefroy, Lagavulin, and then Ardbeg. That's what I think that's what it is. And then over here on the right-hand side on this road, you go down this little road, and this is basically the service road into the distillery. And behind this tree, that's the bay. That's Lagavulin Bay, just as Graham was talking about. And just looking over the water, it's absolutely stunning. And so this road, as I said, it goes to Ardbeg, and then past Ardbeg is the Kildalton Cross. And just unbelievable rolling pasture lands of sheep and gorgeous. I mean, you look over to the right, you see the sea and these huge black jagged rocks, and then on the left is just gorgeous vistas of sheep for days. And I think this will work. This is where we stayed. So I wanted to show you this particular picture instead of the closer one, because this was the excise man's house at Lagavulin back in the day. And they've redone it to be an Airbnb. And it was fabulous. Our room was up there on the left. We had the whole top left side of the house, basically. And these hollyhocks, or I don't know, Graham, you could probably tell me, and you could probably tell me what they are. But to me, that's what I would call hollyhock, which does not grow in South Louisiana, might grow in more than northern climates here in the United States. These were like weeds, y'all. They were just everything you see blooming was just like a weed. And it was stunning. And this place had sheep on all three corners, on all three sides of, the house. And we would just sit there with the window open, and you didn't count sheep. You just listened to them. It was so much fun. So yeah, are they foxgloves? Maybe so, Jennifer. I don't know what they are. All I know is they don't grow here. I don't know what that was at all. But yeah, it was just absolutely beautiful, and I go back tomorrow. But yeah, absolutely go back. Um, the kelpies, yes, the kelpies and the oyster. And you blush as if, as if Gregor. Goodness. Mm. It's always a good combo, whiskey and scallops and some Stornoway black pudding. You know, that's a funny thing. I know Ian and Graham will probably laugh at this. My first trip over, I had people that were asking me, here, are you going to eat their food? And I'm like, when in Rome, why not? And I got over there and I had like a full Scottish breakfast and the at the Airbnb, and she's like, "Well, do you want the haggis and the blood pudding?" And I'm like, "Sure." And they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Maybe not, but yeah, I mean, I'll try it." And it was wonderful. It was actually great. But what a lot of folks don't understand is being from Louisiana, we eat all kinds of things nobody else eats. you know, where haggis, it just is like, okay, it's kind of like oatmeal in there when we are oats in it. And we have boudin that has rice in it. It's basically the same thing. A little different casing, but basically the same thing. Blood pudding, same thing with blood sausage or not blood pudding, but blood sausage. We had it on Isla. We had these like little cubed up pieces that were like flash fried on top of a deer, a venison medallion and hollandaise sauce. Oh my God, it was divine. Don't be afraid to eat different kinds of food. You'll be so surprised. Mm. So this refill, but one more time. Still very, very spicy. I want to try that with some water. If we have time, I'll do that. But we're kind of running out of time. Fifth dram. Am I adorable yet? Slightly, but not really. 49%. So we're pulling back on that ABV just a little bit because it's 18 years old. That's what I'm guessing. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, me. So Graham is saying those were fox gloves on the flowers that were blooming. They were beautiful. And the rhododendrons all over Speyside, they were amazing. Campbelltown, like the whole hill, nothing but bright purple. And the gorse that was blooming, yellow, school bush yellow, all over Speyside and also up around where Brora was in Glenmorangie. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, go hiking there with the kids. That sounds good, Ian. Ian, you need to remind me what part you're in. Did I? Graham's asking, did I see any haggis running around the hills? I didn't see that kind of haggis. Well, I mean, there was pre-haggis, I guess you could say. Um, but no, we had it. Mark liked it too. Mark is a goat, though. Full disclosure, he will eat anything. And I praise his mom for that because she never allowed anybody to say, "Hey, I don't like that." I mean, he was not a picky eater because he just eats anything. So this fifth dram is the Bodega cask, much fruitier on the front nose, and it may be that I've had 5 drams in the smokes, not really getting to me, but hardly any smoke on the nose. Let's see how the taste goes. Wow, there's hardly any smoke on the taste too. And I haven't talked a whole lot about peat. I've been really talking about smoke on these. And I don't get a lot of, I guess I get more of the depth of flavor, or like I call it a dirty dram. It's really not a dirty dram. Certainly doesn't have like the gradu and the pieces and stuff like that, but it's, I think it's because of the mouthfeel and the viscosity of, and the oiliness of it, that I kind of think of as not a clean, crisp dram. But this doesn't, I'm not tasting any. Well, I'm tasting a little bit, but I don't know how much smoke is residual off of the previous 4 drams, I'm gonna have some water. We'll see if that works. Did I see? Yes, I saw. Hey, friend. Hey, Martin. Glad you were able to jump in and say hello. Yum. Okay. Water. Now let's try it again. It's a very, very light nose on it, but more like more of a sherry stewed fruit kind of nose. Again, I'm not getting much at all in the way of smoke on the nose. And this is the Bodega 49. It's much, much more approachable than the last dram. That was really pretty hot at 54. So, Martin, Whiskey Franco, tell me your Lagavulin experience. What you like? What's your fave? Okay. Now the smoke's coming in on the finish. Like barely there. And again, more campfire. The face shield was the one that had more of an ashy type finish, but the rest of them were pretty solid on kind of that camp dram thing going. So I want to go back. We got a little bit of time. I want to go back to this refill sherry butt, because this is the one that was 54.3, and it was really, really hot. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Don't really get an earthy peat, but a clean, smoky note with most Lagavulins. Yep. And I think because of that, these that makes Lagavulin very approachable for someone kind of new to an island, where they're going to get a more smoke forward expression rather than a peat forward expression. Because most people are scared of what they don't know about. If they don't know about peat, even this weekend, we had the Bourbon Festival here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana Bourbon Festival. It was a fantastic event. But everybody knows I do Scotch. Everybody and I led a session on American single malts, and we discussed they are not Scotch. They aren't meant to be Scotch. They are our American single malts for a reason. Some are made more closely in the way Scotch is made. But, when you talk about people who are not used to malt or not used to Scotch, how many times do you say, I just don't like that smoky or that peaty stuff? And it's like, 90% of what's made in Scotland is not peated. So we just have to keep educating people. Okay, nose bloomed out. Much sweeter with a few drops on this refill sherry butt. Almost perfumey now. Still pretty hot. Pretty warm. Spartan says, Laga 16, right? First peated whiskey, many moons, an instant love story. Nowadays, certainly enjoy the 12 cask strength. Yep. And the 11 Offerman releases. Absolutely. That has been echoed pretty much all night, friend. Pretty much all night. Everybody's been saying the same thing. Yeah, this one is I have to go. I've got a good little bit left. I'll have to revisit that one for sure. Mm. Well, this has been fun. I hope y'all have had fun with this. I wish you could have had all of this, but hopefully you've curled up next to your favorite Lagavulin this evening, um, and I'm really glad that I've been able to, kind of share this experience. Not everybody can go to Isla. I understand that. Um, and even if you can, it's hard to make the rounds at all the different places. I mean, we were there 2, 3 nights, I think, and we really only went to like 3 distilleries. We could have just gone, 90 miles an hour and just hit boom, 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 boom. But I really just wanted to spend time in the space of Isla, if that makes sense, and being able to absorb that, and see some of the things that I didn't get to see before. So I had not gone to Bunahaven before. I had not gone to Lagavulin before. So really wanted to make sure I got a good experience at both of those places. I had to go to Ardbeg because it's like, it's Mecca. It is what it is. So I had to do that for sure. And um yeah, just being able to bring this kind of experience back is a lot of fun. And then getting to relive it myself, to revisit all of these drams because they taste, I mean, I remember enjoying them there that day in that dank, dark warehouse. Um, but then to be able to come home in a different environment and be able to share them with you all, that's what I love. Absolutely love it. Um, so oh goodness. So Graham, I hope I did not corrupt you, that you are on a dry day today. You have been dramming some really cool places. He's been traveling some, and I know y'all have been getting some hellacious weather over there. I saw Hamish was even posting how he posted a video at how beautiful this landscape was, and he said in 10 minutes later there was horizontal rain. So I can totally relate to that kind of bad weather. But all that new rain is hopefully going to make whiskey down the road for sure. So speaking of down the road, um, next week, I'm going to be joined by some friends, one of which I think is still in the chat. So Gregor and my friend Chris, who you might know as Everwind, from this channel, from Scotch for Dummies, from Agavite. Um, they are going to be my flight with friends next week because Chris, the community, y'all, the community is so awesome. And when you're trying to find something and you can't get it where you are, but somebody who might can, don't be afraid to ask for some help. And in this situation, so very happy that Chris was able to grab a bottle for Gregor and for me of All Rise, the Pledge of Ardna American. We're going to be drinking this and maybe some more Ardna Americans. I don't know, but we're going to have fun. So we're going to do that. And then I'm also going to have a couple of samples that I'm going to send out to some lucky folks out next week because this was a hot bottle to find. I don't chase bottles. I really, really don't. But it's Ardna Market. And I've been there on a single track road. And I really wanted it. So really, really stoked about going through this next week. Look, just one more time, guys. Look at that freaking color. I mean, come on. It's going to be something. They came over and did an American whirlwind in places not close to me at all. So Chris was a big trooper. And yes, you are going to be on with me. You can start working on your hair now, but something tells me just a few minutes, and it will be absolutely fabulous. Yeah, it was a bottle that they did just for their quick US tour that they had. And from what I remember, they were only on the East Coast, New York and DC, maybe. I'll have to go back and look. But yeah, it came up fast and was gone that fast after that. But yeah. Um I'll put the Q. All right, here's the QR code for with my new camera. Oops, wrong way. So you can see if y'all can shoot a picture of it to learn about it. Because Ardnamurchan puts all the good stuff and they're so transparent. Okay. I'll post it there as well. So okay, so Taste and Sensibility is saying that Ardnamurchan is all over Total Wine. We do have one, but I have not seen that there either. Yeah, and Martin, mine came too. Just got the Aqua Vitae picks for Ardnamurchan. Might have to save those for next week. Yeah, I think we're going to be splashing some new stuff for sure. We'll see. We'll see for sure. So yeah, think about Scotland right now. They are having a lot of mudslides and flooding. I saw that you posted in Campbelltown, and it was amazing. On the route to Campbelltown, there was a big mudslide. So think about those folks. Raise your glass of Lagavulin or whatever you're drinking. And we're going to be back next week, friends, talking about some Ardnamurchan, Ardna American. And until then, thanks for being here. Sanji, y'all.